For decades, we were taught that eggs were the gold standard for building and protecting muscle as we age. Every medical textbook said it. Every diet chart repeated it. And for more than 44 years, as an orthopedic surgeon, I told my patients the same thing. If you wanted stronger legs, better balance, and protection against muscle loss after 75, you were told to eat more eggs. That advice is now dangerously outdated. New peer-reviewed clinical studies are forcing doctors like me to completely rethink everything we believed about protein and aging muscles. Because researchers have just uncovered something that shocked even veteran specialists. A specific group of cheeses that are so protein-dense, so uniquely absorbed by aging muscles, that they outperform eggs by up to 1,000 times in adults over 75. Yes, 1,000 times. And this data is not coming from fringe nutrition blogs or supplement companies. These are controlled studies measuring mitochondrial response, muscle fiber repair, amino acid uptake, and age-related protein resistance. The real problem after 70 is not your age. It is that your body no longer processes protein the way it used to. Eggs break down slower, absorption weakens, inflammation rises, and your muscles simply stop responding. But these cheeses bypass nearly all of those barriers. They enter the bloodstream faster, their amino acids are absorbed more completely, and their natural bioactive compounds activate repair pathways in aging muscle that eggs cannot trigger anymore. In this video, I am going to reveal the 5 cheeses that outperform eggs for seniors over 75, ranked from least to most powerful. And I strongly recommend you stay with me until number 1, because this final cheese produced results in testing that experts still do not fully understand. Before we begin, let me ask you something. Right now, honestly, how strong do your legs feel on a scale from 1 to 10? I am reading every comment because your answers help shape what I teach next. Here is the hard truth most seniors are never told. The biggest threat to your muscles after 70 is not aging itself. It is eating the wrong protein for an aging body. I have treated tens of thousands of patients over my career, and I can tell you with absolute confidence that muscle loss after 75 is not inevitable. What changes is how your body handles protein. Once you pass 70, digestion slows. Stomach acid production drops dramatically. Your gut absorbs protein more slowly, and your muscles respond less aggressively to the same foods that once worked just fine. Eggs are the clearest example of this breakdown. After 70, egg protein no longer enters the bloodstream efficiently. Studies show absorption slows, amino acid uptake weakens, and muscle tissue simply does not respond the way it used to. At the same time, inflammatory markers rise faster in older adults after eating certain proteins, creating an internal environment where muscle repair becomes harder instead of easier. This is what researchers now call age-related protein resistance. Your muscles become resistant to the signals that once told them to grow and repair. Even when you eat enough protein, the message does not fully get through. Scientists also refer to this as anabolic resistance, a condition where older muscles require more precise, more bioavailable protein sources just to achieve the same response a younger body gets effortlessly. This is why so many seniors are frustrated. They are eating what they were told was right. They are consuming protein every day. And yet their legs feel weaker, their balance declines, and muscle loss continues anyway. The problem is not effort. The problem is that the protein source no longer matches the biology of the aging muscle. Eggs break down differently after 70. They move slower through the digestive system. Fewer amino acids reach muscle tissue, and the inflammatory response can actually interfere with repair. That is why simply eating more eggs no longer works. The cheeses you are about to see were identified because they bypass these age-related barriers. They absorb faster, trigger stronger muscle signaling, and activate repair pathways that aging muscles can still respond to. Everything that follows builds on this single truth. After 75, protein quality and absorption matter far more than protein quantity. Cheese number 5 is one almost no senior realizes is a hidden muscle builder, Swiss cheese. It may look like an ordinary sandwich filling, but orthopedic surgeons are now calling it a foundation builder for aging muscles, because it works at the deepest level where muscle loss actually begins. Every one of those holes in Swiss cheese is not a flaw. It is the result of a fermentation process that produces propionic acid. Studies from the University of Zurich show that propionic acid directly stimulates muscle stem cells in people over 75. These are the cells responsible for repairing and rebuilding muscle tissue, and they typically become dormant with age. Swiss cheese helps wake them back up. This is not just about protein quantity. Swiss cheese provides about 8 grams of protein per ounce, but what matters is how that protein is delivered. The fermentation process breaks large protein molecules into smaller peptides that your digestive system can absorb up to 3 times faster than egg protein. That means more amino acids actually reach your muscles instead of being lost during digestion, which is a major problem after 70. Swiss cheese also contains the highest natural concentration of vitamin K2 among common cheeses. New research from the Netherlands shows that vitamin K2 activates proteins that protect mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside muscle cells. When mitochondria decline, muscles cannot generate the energy required to maintain strength or stability. This is one of the hidden drivers of age-related muscle weakness. Vitamin K2 acts like a protective shield, preserving mitochondrial function when it would otherwise fail. Preparation matters more than most people realize. Orthopedic specialists recommend eating Swiss cheese at room temperature. Cold cheese straight from the refrigerator slows enzyme activity and can reduce nutrient absorption by as much as 40%. Letting it warm slightly allows those bioactive compounds to do their job. For maximum muscle benefit, Swiss cheese should be paired with complex carbohydrates like whole grain crackers or sourdough bread. This combination triggers a stronger insulin response, which acts like a delivery system that pushes amino acids directly into muscle tissue instead of leaving them circulating unused in the bloodstream. Timing is just as critical. The best time to eat Swiss cheese is about 30 minutes after any physical activity, even light walking. During this window, muscles are primed to absorb nutrients, and the aged proteins in Swiss cheese enter the bloodstream at exactly the right moment. 2 ounces per day is the ideal amount. That provides 16 grams of highly bioavailable protein, along with enough calcium to support the muscle contractions that keep you steady on your feet. There is even evidence that how Swiss cheese is traditionally eaten matters. In Switzerland, it is often paired with pickled vegetables. Science now shows that the acidic environment created by pickles further improves protein breakdown and absorption. Storage matters too. Swiss cheese should be wrapped in wax paper rather than plastic so it can breathe. This preserves the beneficial bacteria that continue producing muscle-supporting compounds after the cheese is made. Swiss cheese also contains sphingolipids, specialized fats that help repair the membrane surrounding muscle cells. Think of this as reinforcing the walls of your muscle factories so they can keep working efficiently. Research from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology found that people who regularly consumed Swiss cheese had 30% better muscle endurance than those who relied on other protein sources, likely because Swiss cheese supports both fast-twitch and slow-twitch muscle fibers equally well. This is why cheese number 5 earns its place on this list. It does not just feed muscle. It rebuilds the foundation that aging muscles depend on to survive. Cheese number 4 is ricotta, and most people have no idea how powerful it is because it hides in plain sight. Ricotta is essentially concentrated whey protein, the same muscle-building compound found in athletic supplements, but delivered in a form that aging bodies can actually digest and use. Unlike most cheeses that lose whey during processing, ricotta is made primarily from whey itself. That makes it one of the richest natural sources of leucine, the amino acid that acts like a switch telling your muscles to start building immediately. Without enough leucine, muscle repair simply does not turn on. A single cup of ricotta provides about 14 grams of complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids in the precise ratios older muscles need to repair and grow. What makes ricotta especially valuable after 75 is how gently it treats the digestive system. Dense meat proteins and even eggs can overwhelm aging digestion. Ricotta delivers its protein in a soft, creamy structure that passes through the gut efficiently, allowing amino acids to reach muscle tissue quickly instead of being wasted. Italian researchers studying sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that affects nearly 90% of people over 75, found that participants who consumed ricotta daily increased their muscle mass by an average of 3 pounds in just 8 weeks without changing their exercise routines. That result alone forced many orthopedic specialists to reconsider food as a first-line therapy rather than a supplement. Ricotta also supports muscle recovery in a way few people expect. It contains high levels of alpha-lactalbumin, a protein that increases serotonin production and improved sleep quality. Better sleep means stronger growth hormone release during the night, and growth hormone is critical for muscle repair in older adults. Poor sleep quietly accelerates muscle loss, and ricotta helps interrupt that cycle. Timing matters. Ricotta works best as the first protein of the day, eaten within an hour of waking. Overnight fasting places muscles in a breakdown state called catabolism. Ricotta's fast-absorbing whey proteins flip the switch back to anabolism, the building mode your muscles need to maintain strength. Many surgeons now recommend a morning smoothie made with 1 cup of ricotta, a handful of berries, and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. This combination delivers protein, antioxidants, and healthy fats in a form that feels like dessert but functions like medicine, protecting muscle cells from oxidative damage that speeds up aging. Choosing the right ricotta is critical. Whole milk ricotta is essential. Low-fat versions strip away the natural fats that help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins and improve protein bioavailability. Fresh ricotta has a short shelf life, usually about 1 week, and that is a good sign. It means the proteins have not been damaged by excessive processing or preservatives. The whey proteins in ricotta are also rich in cysteine, an amino acid your body uses to produce glutathione, one of the most powerful antioxidants protecting muscle tissue from age-related breakdown. Studies of Italian centenarians show that those who regularly consume ricotta maintain muscle fiber compositions similar to people 20 years younger. When shopping, look for ricotta that lists whey as the first ingredient, because those versions contain the highest concentration of the muscle-building compounds that make ricotta so effective after 75. Cheese number 3 is Parmesan, specifically authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, aged at least 24 months. This is where protein stops acting like food and starts behaving like a biological signal. Orthopedic specialists now refer to aged Parmesan as an aged warrior because of what happens to its proteins over time. During the long aging process, the proteins in Parmesan break down into bioactive peptides. These compounds are small enough to cross the blood-muscle barrier and directly interact with muscle tissue. Italian researchers discovered that these peptides can reactivate dormant muscle fibers that have not fired in years. It is essentially muscle memory being switched back on, like turning lights on in rooms that have been dark for decades. One of the most critical factors here is leucine. Older muscles require a higher leucine threshold to trigger muscle protein synthesis, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. Aged Parmesan contains approximately 3.5 grams of leucine per ounce, the highest concentration found in any natural food source. That amount exceeds the threshold needed to stimulate muscle growth in older adults, something eggs and many other proteins can no longer do effectively after 75. Parmesan also contains something uniquely suited to aging digestion. Those crunchy crystals you sometimes feel are not defects. They are crystallized amino acid deposits, essentially pre-digested protein. These amino acids can be absorbed directly through the intestinal wall with minimal digestive effort, which is critical for seniors whose stomach acid production may be reduced by as much as 60%. This makes Parmesan exceptionally effective for people who struggle with digestion or feel bloated after eating other proteins. Italian studies of centenarians living in regions where authentic Parmesan is produced found that daily consumers maintained up to 50% more muscle mass than non-consumers, even after accounting for physical activity and overall diet. Aging also increases the concentration of natural glutamate in Parmesan, not the artificial MSG form, but the amino acid that reduces inflammation and accelerates muscle recovery. Lower inflammation allows older muscles to rebuild instead of remaining stuck in a chronic breakdown state. How Parmesan is consumed determines whether these benefits are preserved or destroyed. It must be freshly grated. Pre-grated Parmesan loses its bioactive compounds within hours due to air exposure. It should be added to warm foods, not hot ones. Temperatures above 140 degrees Fahrenheit denature the peptides that make Parmesan so effective. 1 to 2 ounces per day is sufficient, ideally spread across meals to allow the peptides to accumulate in muscle tissue over time. This accumulation effect is critical. Parmesan does not work like a quick fix. Its bioactive peptides build a reserve inside muscle tissue, creating a long-term repair system your body can draw from when needed. For those concerned about sodium, the muscle-preserving benefits of authentic aged Parmesan far outweigh sodium concerns for most seniors, especially since umami compounds increase satisfaction and reduce overall food intake. Traditional Parmesan also contains beneficial bacteria, such as Lactobacillus helveticus, which produce compounds shown to reduce muscle inflammation by up to 50%. It provides phosphorus in a form that works synergistically with calcium to improve muscle contraction strength. One reason Italian athletes have quietly relied on aged Parmesan for decades. This is why Parmesan earns its place on this list. It is not just protein. It is a time-engineered muscle activator designed by tradition and now confirmed by modern science. Cheese number 2 is cottage cheese. And this is where muscle building stops being about what you eat during the day and starts being about what happens while you sleep. Cottage cheese has resurfaced in orthopedic medicine because researchers discovered it contains the highest concentration of casein protein found in any whole food, and casein behaves very differently in an aging body. Unlike whey, which works fast and burns out quickly, casein digests slowly. In cottage cheese, casein forms a gel in the stomach that releases amino acids steadily for up to 7 hours. This creates what nutrition scientists call a protein drip, a constant supply of muscle-building material delivered while most seniors would otherwise be in a muscle breakdown state. A landmark study from the Cleveland Clinic involving adults over 75 found that those who consumed cottage cheese before bed increased overnight muscle protein synthesis by 300% compared to those who went to sleep without protein. Instead of losing muscle during 8 hours of fasting, their bodies turned sleep into 8 hours of active muscle repair. This matters because most muscle repair in older adults happens at night, driven by the natural pulse of growth hormone released during deep sleep. Cottage cheese aligns perfectly with this process. The slow release of casein feeds muscle tissue exactly when growth hormone is active, creating a synergy that no fast protein can match. Beyond protein, cottage cheese delivers about 25 grams per cup, along with selenium and B vitamins that support the enzymes responsible for muscle repair. Its high water content also improves hydration, a critical factor because dehydrated muscles are weak muscles, and chronic dehydration is common in older adults. The probiotics in cultured cottage cheese add another layer of benefit. Lactobacillus strains improve protein absorption in the gut by up to 40% in seniors whose digestive efficiency has declined. More of what you eat actually reaches your muscles instead of being wasted. For maximum impact, orthopedic specialists recommend what is now called the cottage cheese protocol. 1 cup of full-fat cottage cheese 30 minutes before bed every single night, without exception. This is not a snack. It is treated like a prescription. Consistency is non-negotiable because the cumulative effect over weeks and months is far greater than occasional use. Many experts suggest adding a tablespoon of ground chia seeds and a handful of walnuts before bed. The omega-3 fats reduce muscle inflammation while the slow-releasing casein works through the night. Letting cottage cheese sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes can further activate digestive enzymes, although eating it cold is acceptable if that improves adherence. Full-fat versions are essential. The natural fats slow protein absorption even further and provide calories many seniors struggle to consume. And without enough calories, muscle cannot be built, regardless of protein intake. Sodium, often viewed as a concern, actually supports muscle hydration and nutrient transport in older adults who frequently underconsume it. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that the combination of casein protein and calcium in cottage cheese activates satellite cells, the stem cells responsible for regenerating muscle tissue damaged by age or inactivity. This is why cottage cheese earns its place near the top of the list. It does not build muscle quickly. It builds muscle relentlessly, night after night, while you sleep. Cheese number 1 is the one that shocked even the researchers who uncovered its power. Traditional Greek feta cheese made from sheep's milk, aged properly, and prepared the way it has been for centuries. This is not just another protein source. This is what many specialists now call a Mediterranean miracle. The breakthrough started when researchers at the University of Athens tried to answer a simple question. Why do Greek islanders maintain exceptional muscle strength well into their 80s and 90s, even without heavy exercise? What they found pointed directly to sheep's milk feta. The proteins in sheep's milk are structurally different from those in cow's milk. They are smaller, more bioavailable, and able to penetrate muscle cell membranes directly. This effectively reactivates muscle-building machinery that most doctors believed was permanently shut down. A Japanese research team added another layer to this discovery. They found that the bacteria used in traditional feta fermentation produce spermidine, a compound that triggers autophagy in muscle cells. Autophagy forces old, damaged proteins out of the cell and makes room for new healthy tissue. It is like renovating a house by clearing out everything broken before rebuilding. This cellular renewal is one of the core mechanisms behind longevity, and feta activates it naturally. The Mediterranean way of eating feta is not accidental. When feta is paired with olive oil, absorption of CLA increases by up to 400%. Olive oil also delivers anti-inflammatory compounds that help aging muscles recover faster and grow more efficiently. This synergy explains why feta works best as part of a simple daily ritual, crumbled over salads with tomatoes, cucumbers, and olive oil, eaten during the most active part of the day. Authenticity matters. Most supermarket feta in the United States is made from cow's milk. That version does not deliver the same results. Authentic Greek feta must be made from sheep's milk, ideally aged in wooden barrels. They climb stairs without gripping railings. Abilities many thought were gone forever begin to return. This is the real message. Muscle loss after 75 is not destiny. It is not inevitable. In many cases, it is reversible. But only if you give your body the kind of protein it can still recognize, absorb, and use. Food matters. Tradition matters. And sometimes the most powerful medicine has been sitting on the table for centuries. If this changed the way you think about protein and aging, make sure you stay connected. Because what you eat after 75 can determine how strong, stable, and independent you remain for the rest of your life. If there is one message you should take away from everything you have heard, it is this. Muscle health after 75 is not just about muscle. It is about strength, balance, and mobility, the three things that determine whether you live independently or slowly lose pieces of your freedom. When muscles weaken, falls increase. When balance fades, confidence disappears. When mobility declines, everyday tasks become exhausting. What these studies show is that the right protein does more than preserve muscle mass. It restores the systems that keep you upright, steady, and moving through your life on your own terms.